Welcome to week 44, 2025. It's going by in a hurry. We only have about 8 weeks left in the trading year. Let's make them good. Okay, so here's the picks of the weeks. Today we're going to look at the Great Britain pound Australian dollar, the euro CAD, and then also the New Zealand dollar Japanese yen. Now, we selected these pairs because we're going to see the central banks get involved and really drive valuations, especially in the U.S. dollar, the Japanese yen, and the euro, also the Canadian dollar as well. Remember, Wednesday, FOMC Live, we're going to have Jay Powell's presser right around 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 minutes before the press conference starts. I'll have FOMC Live, all the coverage there. The Bank of Canada also going to get involved on Wednesday, so if you're trading the loonie pairs, be careful there as well. ECB and the Bank of Japan are going to be involved later in the week on the Thursday session. So you're going to want to be careful with the yen on Thursday, the euro on Thursday, the U.S. dollar on Wednesday, and also the Canadian dollar on Wednesday as well. A lot going on with central banks this week. Be sure to check out our newsletter. We gave you a complete write-up on what to expect. Now, Great Britain pound Australian dollar, euro CAD, and the Kiwi yen are going to be our picks of the week this week. Let's go ahead and dive in with the Great Britain pound Australian dollar. Now, you'll see this Australian dollar has been in an interesting formation. It's because the gold market has been absolutely crazy. The Aussie typically is positively correlated with gold prices, silver prices as well, and copper prices. So we're looking really closely at potentially getting a bid here, especially if gold regains a little bit of its form. Nice spike low back here on October of 2024. That low is a great place to begin your wave. And you got the tariff panic of 2025 in April. That's going to be your spike high here. Fibonacci retracement sequence. Very basic stuff, guys. Horizontal support level right around that 2 flat area, 2007, somewhere in that zone, 20070. I think that's a pretty good support zone. Maybe some bids will enter the market just ahead of that, but that would be downside support, especially if we see that late October action take us to the bear. It's very possible in this pair. That's going to be one of our levels that we're looking at. So if you're holding shorts in this market, you're not necessarily in a bad shape. You've got plenty of room before you get to support. But if you want to be patient and wait maybe for a macro level that could bring some bidding to the market, you'll see it right there, right around that 20070. And then also our 13-month EMA is right around that 2033. Very, very big zone right there as well. I like my 13-month EMA, and right there sort of acting as downside support right now. Lots going on in this pair, though. This is one that a lot of folks are watching. So if you're watching it, that's sort of what we see from a technical perspective. Now, Euro CAD. Euro CAD's fascinating. Fascinating market. You've seen just an epic breakout this month, up about this year, or the last 12 months, about 9.5%. The euro definitely has been on a march against the Canadian dollar, no question about it. Saw a little bit of a surge lately with the Canadian dollar and the crude oil pricing getting a little bit of a late season bump we weren't ready for. Brought some asks to this market, but the euro definitely dominant here. Remember, BOC on Wednesday, that's going to be big for the Canadian dollar. ECB Thursday, that's going to be big for the euro. So this pair has the potential to be all over the place as we get into the Wednesday, Thursday sessions. Right here, Euro CAD. This is interesting because on the daily chart, 920 EMA crossover. You'll notice the 9 has crossed over the 20, and now theoretically, you have a bullish bias here on the daily time frame. So a couple of things I'd like to point out. Our RSI down here, our confirmation device. Remember, when you're above 70, you're looking to sell the market. When you're below 30, you're looking to buy the market. Right now, we're right around 50. So this market is showing signs of one that's in consolidation ahead of some key news events. Right here, you can see we got the big purple bar. This is off our 920 coded EMA crossover strategy. Check that out over on the How to Trade Com YouTube channel. We made a video on how to code this using artificial intelligence and everything. But this is essentially our signals. You've got a sell signal right there that looks like it's going to lose. Now you have a buy signal. I think that if you were going to make a play, the bullish side of this market is certainly attractive, at least according to this 920 EMA crossover on the daily time frame. Remember, Euro CAD, a lot of volatility Wednesday, Thursday. Be ready for it. And the last thing we're going to cover here is going to be the Kiwi yen. We're going to keep this one short and sweet. Bank of Japan is going to get involved Thursday. We believe that you're going to see the BOJ hold the line and not cut interest rates, even though the BOJ has a history of rushing and making sure that deposit rate in Japan for the yen is negative, and that has to do with almost devaluing the currency to make those exports hyper competitive globally. We haven't seen it yet. You still have a positive interest rate in Japan. That's sort of new territory for the BOJ. Fascinating to see what exactly they say. Fascinating to see what they do. Right now, the markets are expecting no move from the BOJ. So if we do get a surprise we're going to see potentially a big-time run in this market. You can see it definitely 2025's high in this Kiwi yen. Big level right up there at 89.70, 89.70 to maybe 90. That's a key level, maybe a possible resistance zone. Until then, though, it's awfully tempting to be holding longs. Just remember, the Bank of Japan is going to dictate policy when it comes to the yen. So a lot going on with these pairs. Are all going to be driven in one fashion or another, either by commodity prices in the case of the Great Britain Pound Australian dollar or the Euro CAD. That's going to be central banking driven as well. You can see just a big time year there in the Euro CAD. Sort of a bullish bias here on the daily, though. You definitely are looking at that crossover thinking this may not be a bad play to the top side going into these announcements. Just be sure you control your risk. And then also your Kiwi yen, 2025's high, 89.70. Technical analysis doesn't have to be difficult. Sometimes it's very, very simple. I think that we're in for some decent trading this week. So be sure to join us on all of our live streams daily at Switch Markets. And then also Thursday, we're going to have our Switch Markets live webinar series where we're going to go ahead and scalp the 9 EMA strategy with a little bit of confirmation from our RSI and potentially one other indicator that I'm thinking of introducing. All right, guys, that's it for week 44 right now. If you have any questions at all, be sure to head on over to the Switch Markets YouTube channel, leave a question or a comment below this video. I'll be more than happy to get back to you in short order. That's a wrap. Trade the action well, and we'll talk soon. See ya.